Servus, Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. I wanna make a brief video and make a point about, an adjacent topic about what I talked about in my last video when I told you about some incidents we had at New Year's Eve in Germany now. So it just so happened that in many of these parts of some towns like Berlin and Leipzig, there were crimes being committed, and then the police was attacked by certain groups of people when they tried to help or to actually enforce the German laws there. And the response of the politicians of a left-leaning persuasion, that is the Green Party, the Social Democrats, and the left, they said the police were at fault. They were provoking that or being attacked by either Antifa, some left-wing lunatics, or some more colorful people from the far corners of the globe. That is their own fault, and they shouldn't have done that, and that's a provocation. Now, I didn't make that point so clearly in my last video, so I want to do it now. These politicians that I named in the last video, and others too, they are just the same people who adamantly deny the existence of so-called no-go zones in Germany. So areas where our German law cannot be or will not be enforced, where other groups have claimed that as their territory, and even though officially the German state or the Federal Republic of Germany still thinks that they're in control or this is part of our nation, the facts on the ground are different. German police has no power there. They don't even enter these areas. And there is also a parallel system of justice that has been established there. And that might be of the anarchist persuasion, or it might be a tribal ethnic nature, or a religious system even. And this is undeniably true because, you know, I'm a scientist. I look at this like an experimentalist. I say, okay, we performed an experiment or we observe a phenomenon in nature, and these are the facts. And we cannot somehow with mental gymnastics discuss this away or something. We have to deal with the facts. And the facts are that the police is either told by their handlers, by the politicians, which are left-winged in these places, in these cities, in these communities, to stand down, to not enforce the law, even though this is what they're, what they should do, or they are physically incapable because they're understaffed and they're not equipped well enough to go in there, and they're facing a force that is too big for them to handle. Be that as it may, it doesn't matter what it is in the end. I think it's the former rather than the latter. They have the equipment that they need. They show that when they use this equipment against normal German citizens and taxpayers. But I think it's rather the politicians that tell them, okay, you will lose your job, you will not be promoted, you will end up in jail yourself if you enforce the German law in these areas and against these offenders. There are protected groups of offenders, basically, that are under the protection of the politicians. So I want to say very clearly that this indicates, or this proves actually, that yes, there are areas in Germany that are no longer part of the Federal Republic, and against what the media says, or in opposition to what the media says. This is not some right-wing nut jobs who don't see the Federal Republic of Germany as a legitimate state. It is actually foreign people, and it is actually left-wing people who have created states within our state. And let me be very clear. If you say, oh, great, they attacked policemen, that's awesome, I don't like the police because they confiscated 1 gram of a forbidden substance when I was 16, and since then I have a chip on my shoulder. Forgive me this rather, um, yeah, maybe not very fair depiction of such a person. I know there are other reasons, more fundamental critiques, and I also agree to a very large degree with what some libertarians have to say. I personally would profit actually from a rather limited government, and I am in favor of lower taxation and more limited governments. However, I think we need a strong state that is concentrating on the core tasks that a state should perform, and not worry about what we're eating for breakfast and who we're marrying or something, right? These are things that should, that the individual or the family unit should decide for themselves. But we need a state that protects our borders and that enforces the law. That's what we need. And even if you think about a libertarian utopia or dystopia, in my mind rather, where everything is private and there is no state, and some kind of security force or personnel would have to be organized and paid and provided for in order to just sort out disputes or when someone breaks the law. And there would also have to be a law, by the way. You can't have millions of people living in a small area without any laws. And I think libertarians don't argue for anarchy where there are no laws. I don't think they actually do that. But this video is not really a fundamental discussion of libertarianism versus nationalism or something like that. I just want to say I stand with our men in uniform. I think we need a police force, and to say that even though this is public space, this is not private homes we're talking about, right? I'm not talking about the police kicking in doors of people that they think posted something wrong on Facebook. No, no, no. I'm talking about a public road, and the police is on this public road, and they're questioning people or they're stopping people. They want to see ID. They see crimes being committed and they want to enforce the law. That's what I'm talking about. And the police has every right to do so, not just legally in our state, but I think morally. If I could create my own state, that's how it would be. This is my opinion. This is my firm belief that we need a police force that enforces our laws. And to say that just the police walking on a public road is some kind of provocation is completely insane to me. And this just shows you the full degree extent of the lunacy, of the insanity of our current left-wing politicians. Bear in mind that in the same sentence, the very same people then argue that there is no such thing as no-go zones, or the German state is in full control and there is no parallel justice and everything is nice, everything is under control, don't worry, go on to work, pay your taxes, and shut up, yeah, stupid serf, yeah. This is the country in which we are living. And I think these clear lies, or these cases, or these events where you see that there is a gap between what is reported and what is actually going on in this country, will become very, very clear to more and more people. I just cannot see how even the most the most complacent and only entertainment focused apolitical German can ignore that. And yes, I know, I will be surprised again by the ability of the Germans to just ignore all that and to just flush it down the memory hole by themselves. It's the people who do that. It's not some ministry that is only doing that. No, it's the people themselves in Germany. They're so efficient at just ignoring things, or just not thinking things through, and just living with and accepting these clear contradictions that we see in everyday life. All right. So, but some people at least, or more people, will wake up from witnessing these things, from experiencing these things, or maybe someone in their family got harmed in the process, maybe, yeah, and they themselves will then question what the media and the politicians say more and more. And yeah, we see actually the first signs of that already, especially when it comes to the media, to the public broadcasting that we have in Germany. And that will be the topic of my next video, so stay tuned. I just really wanted to make this point that I think that firefighters, policemen, and medics, and these people, they're there to help. They're the ones that even those criminals call them, by the way. We saw that in Berlin now, or some kind of gangster rapper or something, when they feel threatened by some colorful tribal groups, they also call the police. Yeah, I mean, these are the police is who you call when you feel threatened, when you have a problem, when something is going wrong. Yeah, and these people, people in uniform who help, they have every right to be on public roads, and sometimes even to go into private homes, like when there is a fire, when there is an injured person somewhere, or when there is smoke. That's a clear sign of danger. Then they even have to go into your private home, and then to attack them for various reasons, because you don't accept the German state, and you see them as kind of officers of the state or agents of the state, which, by the way, in the case of medics, for example, who are under constant attack, is not even true. I think there is a big problem, and we have to address this. And the first step, as always, is to talk about that, and to share these stories, and to make it very, very clear where we stand on these issues. All right. I think I made myself very clear now, and there shouldn't be any other interpretations anymore of what I said. So I think police has every right to enforce the law. We need them, and them being on public roads in the wrong part of town as some kind of provocation, or but these politicians are smart. I just want to add in the end this one thing: they won't say, "Oh, policemen have no right to be there." They have some coaching. They have some speech coaches that coach them in how to talk to the media and how to phrase their stuff. They would use words like respect, and out of respect for this culture and that group, and we should act this way or that way, or de-escalate, and all these things. Yeah, so they have this academic flowery language, but that should not trick you. You should see clearly what they mean. They mean you should respect. If you want to use the word respect, what they mean is our state should respect these other states that have factually been formed on our German territory. And it's factually not German anymore. It's factually not German anymore when our state has no right to go there. And when the politicians themselves say, stand down, don't go in there, don't open a case against this person, don't investigate this person, you shouldn't arrest this group of people, and so on. All right. So, I will be making another video very soon about the media, as I said. All right, I hope you're well. I hope you're safe wherever you are. Servus, Kameraden.